You know, if you take a look at Mark's background, he's steeped in experience in athletic departments, but Host Communications is a firm with which I'm familiar. I was the president of a university, Eastern Kentucky University, just 25 miles south of the University of Kentucky, and in those years I had a chance to get to know Jim Host, the founding father of Host Communications, who Mark worked for. Neither Mark nor I ever dreamed there'd be a day when that coincidence would come together and find us here before this podium. But Jim Host is a guy I was able to call and talk about what Mark did in sports marketing, working for some of the finest universities across the country. So I think what we have in Mark Coyle is not only somebody who's steeped in athletic department experience, but somebody who has worked outside in sports marketing for universities. And who are we kidding? In this day and age, it is becoming more and more important for us to find a way to take the Bronco Nation on the road, so to speak, to find a way to get that national fan base that we have developed across the country, not only to turn on the TV set to watch us, but then when they turn it off, to get the checkbook out. And that really is what we're going to be doing, is focusing on how to build that national brand and image that will bring more resources to this program for all. They've been going on now for a matter of weeks. Well, we engaged a search firm, Spencer Stewart, out of New York City, and a search consultant, Jed Hughes, who is the head of their sports practice. And I have been working personally with Jed for the last 3 or 4 months, and Jed is the one who called Mark to my attention. However, actually, Mark emailed me not more than a few days after the announcement went out, a personal email introducing himself, and that was very early in the game, and at that point it was another email in my email box. I didn't know at that time, of course, until I met Jed and until I had a chance to meet Mark, what it would lead to, and that it would lead to this day. Well, since we haven't come to a conclusion on that, I think the safe answer is yes. I think that he and I and Kurt and the coach are all going to have an impact on a role to play in that. I would like to have concluded this by now, but we're still doing our due diligence. We're still checking to make sure that all of our ducks are in a row, and there's no doubt Mark and I these last couple of days have been talking about it, and we will certainly continue doing so, even though his starting date will be sometime next month. That doesn't mean that we won't be on the phone quite often talking about how we build this future for the program.
You know, it's as Dr. Kustra just referred to, when the opening was announced, you can tell how excited I was about this opportunity. I literally reached out and sent an email to him, and when I got into this business, you know, I told myself I wanted to be at a place that had a strong athletics program and valued the importance of academics. And if you look at this program and what they've done athletically and academically, I mean, it's unbelievable. You know, I think earlier this week what came out with the football team and their APR scores and the success they've had, I mean, you want to be a part of that. And when I talked with the coaches today and the senior staff, you know, I want to be at a place where we bring in kids who can compete athletically, obviously, but they can compete academically too. And that's what attracts me about you. To be honest with you, I did most of the talking today. It was more me introducing myself to them and what I wanted to focus on. You know, the one thing, you know, again, Chris and I have been here just over a day now, and the one common thing we've heard from everybody is what a special place this is. And they keep talking to us about how special this place is. And the coaches reiterated that, the senior staff talked about that, and again, I can't tell you how excited we are to have the opportunity to come out here and to bring our 3 kids out here. No, I have not been frustrated at all. You know, I've been selective. You know, I talk about when I wanted to take my first director of athletics job, I want to be at a school that's considered a destination, not a transition. And when I met with Dr. Kustra early on in the process, and when I talked to the coach and the staff today, I see Boise State as a destination. And so I've been very selective when I look at other jobs and have not been frustrated. It's, you know, this is a funny business we work in, and I've never met Dr. Kustra before until we met, you know, a few weeks ago, as he said, and we start to find out a lot of the commonalities we have in place and who we've known. And he spent time in Kentucky. He spent time in Minneapolis. I spent time in Kentucky. I spent time in Minneapolis. And there's so many connections that we have from that standpoint. But again, I see this as a destination school, and I want our coaches and our staff and administrators, this is a place to come to. There's so much positive going on here. Let's make this a destination. Yeah, I mean, I think you roll up your sleeves when you work. I mean, at the end of the day, you've got to roll up your sleeves and you've got to work. And you've got to identify the assets of your program, and you've got to do everything you can to feed those assets and then spread that out, across the programs. But again, Kentucky, it's a special, special place. It's one of those programs that have that national recognition. And when I talked to Coach Peterson earlier today, I mean, Boise State football has that national recognition. And we need to leverage that for all of our programs and for this university and to be a positive window for this campus. And, Dr. Kustra's done so much. I think there's 11 new buildings have gone up on campus and so forth. And how can we be a positive window for this university to attract the top quality students here and also keep that top athletic? Well, when I talked to the coach today, I'm a big believer in having broad-based programs. There's no question that you need football to be healthy because that drives so much of your financial piece in the process. And at Kentucky, when I got there in 2005, we were coming off probation in football. We went to 5 straight bowl games in a row, so we were able to take that program from probation to 5 straight bowl games. And, we all know about the Southeastern Conference and how competitive that is. And obviously the basketball tradition has been very strong there. We had our Final Four run last year. And again, I think you can take those similarities, what you've learned. Change is good sometimes. And I think I can take, I've been in Boise for one day. I don't know the people here. I don't know what's been done in the past. But I do know what I've been prepared to do. And I think I can take those best practices from Kentucky, from Minnesota, from Miami, from Florida State, and how can we incorporate those here at Boise State and help this program get to where it needs. I did not, in fact, when I talked to Coach Rice, I'm not sure if he's here, but I said that's not a nice way to welcome me when I get here. When Chris and I were on the way out here, I said, hey, they played Drake tonight, oddly enough, but I didn't make the game. We had a great dinner with Dr. Kustra and Ms. Kustra. No, I see this as an opportunity. It's amazing when we started to look at this, and Chris and I would be on the internet going to broncosports.com, and we're looking at the facilities, and we're looking at the tradition. Unbelievable what's been laid here. I mean, unbelievable. And so I think I can come in with a new perspective, a fresh look at it, and how can we make positive changes to help this program go to the next level. You'll hear me talk a lot about, the bar's been set here. So how do we take that and move it higher? And my job is to sit down and work closely with our coaches, our student athletes, our staff. And what do we need to do? I always use the analogy of it's a puzzle. You've got to put the pieces of the puzzle together. And what's the next piece of the puzzle that's going to help us take this program to the next level?
What is the next level?
For here, I think what Dr. Kustra talked about, how do we take the success of this program and broaden it nationally and dial into those people? The people who I've met with today, they keep hearing me talk about, we want to be an inclusive program. I want people to feel a part of Boise State. And that means obviously within the state, but outside of the state. How do we get those people to feel involved and be a part of this program? And again, it's creating an inclusive environment where those people feel a part of what we're doing. Yeah, well, Coach Peterson and I had a chance to visit this morning, and I told him the same thing I told Dr. Kustra last night at dinner. My number one goal is to keep Chris Peterson at Boise State University. No pressure, Coach, but and we had a good conversation this morning, and I told him, he has raised the bar, and how do we help him move the needle and take it to the next level? And so again, he and I will obviously have more conversations, but again, what he has done here, and as I said before, this place attracts me because of the athletic excellence, but because of the academic excellence too, and he's done that here, and he proved that it can be done. And I look forward to working closely with him in the program.
No, I've interviewed some folks in other parts of the country. I went to them, but did not bring anybody else in. When I met Mark, I knew I had found the next AD.
Did you meet him elsewhere first? Or
yes, yeah. Mm-hmm.
No, I wouldn't use pressure. I'd use patience. In our society, everybody wants an answer right now. What do you think? What's going to happen? Who's going where? I think we have to be patient. And as I told Dr. Kustra, we met a few weeks ago, and when we talked the past day and a half, we are going to make the best long-term decision for Boise State University. And we've got to always keep that in our mind. And I know they've done a lot of research. I visited with Kurt this afternoon a little bit. I know he's done an incredible amount of research. But again, we will make the best long-term decision for this institution.
Where's the Bronco gear? Oh, here. All right.
And we'll do some one-on-ones. We have a little bit of time that will be available for one-on-ones.
Is that yours? Okay.
Thanks, everybody, for coming. You guys want to move up?
It may take us a second to get used to this orange from Tennessee. So
Yeah, this is a good-looking orange, not a pale orange.